Bitcoin looks poised for some new all-time highs as the new trade deal information comes in with China lowering their tariffs on the U.S. to 10%. And the question of the day is there going to be a pullback first, or does Bitcoin trade higher first? And well, the first move obviously has been a little bit higher to open up this week. And if we do get down to business right here on the down to fucking business, what the hell am I saying, man? Holy shit, I've really lost it. I've actually lost it. No, okay, 4-hour time frame right here. I just want to acknowledge again the price action pivot at 102,900. Again, we've been following the price action pivots just as Bitcoin trades upwards and onwards, and that is a good sort of filter for a bias, meaning that as long as price action is above that pivot, well, I'm going to be generally biased in that direction. And of course, if price action comes back down below that pivot and closes below that pivot very specifically, again 102,900, then that would be an objective signal that hey, we do have a local high in place, and to be expecting a pullback from there, like probably the first decent pullback from this move, which has basically been vertical since about 94,000 bucks just a few days ago. Anyways, moving on from there, I do want to get into first the reasons to be bullish here, the reasons that suggest that Bitcoin does trade higher, and then we'll go over reasons for bearishness, and then perhaps I'll give my opinion on this, but I do want to keep this a little bit more on the neutral side here. Anyways, first things first, I want to bring back this setup. This is the 5-day 5 EMA setup, just a super simplistic setup. Long whenever Bitcoin closes above the 5 exponential, which is the red moving average right here, and close that long whenever Bitcoin closes below that same moving average. And if we go throughout the full history of Bitcoin, here would have been your results just doing that. Of course, these early years, were very fucking, over returning, no outsized returns. But if we do just measure from the beginning of 2018 to current times, still the results are very good, but obviously not as exaggerated as what we just looked at. Anyways, out of 64 trades in the past 7 years, there have been 36% or just under 36% of those profitable with a very high profit factor, meaning that you get a very nice up and to the right equity curve like this. And this strategy really is just designed to catch on to those very long-term trending moves. So it does chop around a lot. Anyways, when we go to the actual trade analysis, we can see that for the winning trades, on average, they returned about 29%. And on average, they took about 9 days to play out. And by the way, if you're looking to set up statistics like this for whatever strategy that you might be having, or if you just want to copy strategies like this, we got plenty of them. You can check out the Quant Prime service in the link in the description below. It is actually free for the first 7 days, so you can try it out, risk-free and all that good shit. Anyways, let's see what this would have looked like, because obviously this one fired off about a month ago now, a little bit more than a month ago on April 11th. And in terms of timing, 9 bars from that entry would put us at the very end of May 26th. So, this current move probably isn't done just yet, at least if we're going off of the averages, which again, there is going to be some variance in there. But as far as the percentage returned, again, around about 29%, that would put Bitcoin effectively at the current all-time high. Let's call it 108 to 109,000 bucks. Again, there's going to be some variance within there. Maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's a little bit less, but on average, we do see, pretty significant moves from this one. So I would say that because this one's very likely to be a winning trade, this one probably does go on for a little bit longer. For reference, instead of looking at 9 bars right now, we are actually at 6 bars. So you're about 2/3 of the way there in terms of timing. And this, this current bar actually still has 3 days to go. So a little bit more than that actually, or sorry, a little bit less than 2/3 of the way there. So generally should be, looking further up during that time frame. Can Bitcoin play out a short-term pullback in between there? Sure. Yeah. This again only gets closed when Bitcoin comes back down and closes a 5-day time frame below that red moving average, which right now is about 99,000 bucks. So that is point number 1 for suggesting that Bitcoin does move higher from here. Point number 2, of course, is the meta signal setup. This is the daily setup that fired off what feels like forever ago, basically at the same price as that last setup that we just looked at, about 83,400. So actually, I think a little bit better. Yeah, $300 better, not bad. This one's already hit target number 1 and target number 2. Target number 3 is actually 110,000 and change, which is, pretty fucking close to the, to this one as well. So I'd say these two are kind of working hand in hand with each other. Now it should be known that target number 3 is very low probability, like below 30% probability. But I mean, with the way that things are looking right here, this would be perhaps one of the examples where this one will hit all 3 targets. Again, it can afford a pullback in between there, but you know, this one stays open, you know, as long as as long as these conditions are met. Anyways, moving on from there, we should also go over, of course, everyone's favorite chart, the most controversial chart in all of cryptocurrency land, and that is the moon chart. And the moon chart is firing off what is typically referred to as the bull moon on this, on this Monday. Now, I do want to acknowledge that the stats for opening a long on the bull moon and closing it on the bear moon, however the hell you want to call these, this would be your equity curve throughout the history of Bitcoin. But of course, I do have a filter on this one. My filter is that I'm actually not, as far as the results go, I'm not trading every day of the week with this one. Let me go back here and let me go back here. There we go. I'll show you because Monday is actually not included in these results for this particular strategy. So let's just see, what if we included Monday? Keep it in mind that the net profit, the net P&L for this one showing, a very large number, 1.4 million, and the profitable trade rate is just over 58.25%. Now, if we were to include Mondays, what does this start to look like? Well, our total P&L or net P&L is going to what? Well, I already know the answer because I've already done it, but I'll wait for it to load so you can see it for yourself when we include those Monday signals, because it is going to be significantly less actually. But for whatever reason, all of my TradingView shit is just taking forever to populate today. Yeah, it goes down just below 1 million. So nearly losing about 30% of that total P&L, and profitable trade rate goes down by about 3% as well. So I would say that in general, probably better off avoiding taking those Monday signals if they even work at all. And hey, the last one was a bear moon. What happened with Bitcoin? It did not go lower, I'll put it that way. So this is, again, not completely, foolproof. And so, I'll just be aware of that. But, if anything, if I'm going off the statistics here, this actually would not be the best one to be taking, and does kind of align with my personal opinion, which is that Bitcoin very likely pulls back here first. That's just my personal opinion. I'll get into why at the end of this video. But I do want to represent the Bula side here first, just because people seem to get really fucking pissed off when you don't. Anyways, on top of that, as far as the greater picture, I want to bring back this chart, the not tethered dominance chart, but stablecoin dominance chart. So I'm looking at both USDC plus USDT combined in this chart. And we expect this to play essentially inverse of course, Bitcoin spot. And in this case, we do see that it has once again had a nice catastrophic pullback. We are seeing the weekly MACD freshly cross the downside with a negative histogram here for the first time in quite some time. And it's also breaking structure at the same time. So overall, this is actually one of my, probably one of the best charts that I'm going to be referencing to judge when this cycle is over. If and when it does get down around these past cycle lows, that's probably going to be about it for me. But for right now, that does still give it very likely some time. Now, in the short term, to represent the other side, or begin to represent the other side, because I haven't done that just yet, the daily time frame, so a very, very low time frame compared to what we just looked at on the weekly, which does suggest overall further downside. The daily time frame is based off the white moving average, which is a 200 simple, which is very, very, very common to bounce off of. And we would have, if it does bounce here, some bullish divergence on the daily MACD. So, if there is going to be a short-term bounce here, this would kind of make this particular area would make the most sense, which would imply some short-term downside for Bitcoin versus the dollar. But, assuming that this one just does not reclaim the new price action pivot, which is a bearish pivot at 740 from last Tuesday's high, downside still remains the most likely scenario, with, very likely back down around these prior cycle lows. Anyways, moving on from there, let's get into perhaps some of the bearish reasons. First, I'll bring up the meta signal setup. So we looked at earlier a daily setup, which is still valid. You can see many lower term time frame setups compared to a daily play out, while a daily still plays out as well. And this one is actually a short setup. It's for the 4-hour time frame. It's actually a very high probability one in this case, with the first target win rate at around 79.5%, so close to 80%. I mean, that's pretty fucking good. Now, keep in mind, target number one is what? 102,750. This is not like a crazy move or anything like this. Even target number two, with a probability of 37.5%, is significantly lower than that. And also that is like just below $100,000. So, if Bitcoin does pull back from here, I don't think it's going to go, that much lower than $100,000, to be honest. Target number 3 is 96,300. And of course, that is an even lower probability at about 20.5%, as you can see right here. So, does the 4-hour pull back while the daily continues, over a longer period of time? I think that's how this one's going to look like, just personally. But time shall tell, I suppose. Anyways, on top of that, we can go ahead and look at, yes, daily stochastic momentum. Again, this signal has been building for a while now. We've been keeping it on our sort of side to reference, but it continues to not fire off the objective signal that I'd be looking for to confirm an actual, decent pullback. Anyways, in this case, the daily stochastic oscillator is still deep inside that critical zone. Yes, it is currently lower than the last high, so there is potential for a divergence here, and it will turn down on today's closure if Bitcoin were to close below 103,800. So if you do see this pivot now violated to the downside, I would say that's a pretty damn good signal, a pretty damn good early warning signal alongside that 4-hour price action pivot that, if met by the daily closure, okay, now I'm going to start to feel really confident about calling, a decent pullback, like $4,000 to $5,000 at least. On top of that, the 2-day time frame is also deep inside this critical zone and is going to turn down below 104,500. And this one actually closes tonight. So if we see both of these things fire off, okay, that case gets strengthened significantly, and I look at this as actionable. The 3-day time frame is also going to be closing tonight and is pivoted just a little bit lower at 103,350. So keep all of these numbers in mind. Basically, if Bitcoin's below about 103, you're going to see all of these simultaneously confirm at once. And that would be, in my opinion, a very, very objective signal for looking for some, decent downside, like a decent pullback from here. I think Bitcoin maybe goes a little bit below $100,000. But we shall see. We shall see. Anyways, last one that I'll leave you with, and actually a pretty important one for me, is going to be over here. Yes, over here on the daily time frame for Bitcoin spot. And I want to bring up the HPDR bands because we're seeing a very particular signal right now. Okay, so let's go over the statistics of this. First things first, Bitcoin as of right now is at the 61.8 level, meaning that this is this current move is outside of about 61.8% of the historical returns range. So this is, starting to get into low probability stuff. Now, to be fair, it is actually still above the 61.8 level, which is effectively 104. So as long as it's above there, there is potential for another move towards the 78.2, which is, guess where? Basically 110, aligning with all of our other higher term time frame models. But in the event that we do see it close below, we are going to see a setup here, a setup that will be confirmed. And it will be with first, losing that level, and then also daily volatility starting to contract here with BBWP getting below the moving average. Then I want to see the moving average get a negative slope. At that point, you're extremely likely going to see a move down to the median. Now, the median will move each and every day, and it will move to the upside here. So I imagine it's probably going to move closer to $100,000, in the next 24 to 48 hours. So, I don't think things are going to, or this is just not my first fucking target for this, to be fair. But we will update, what it is tomorrow, assuming that this one does fire off, because that is going to be a very, very, very high probability move if it does get confirmed. So time will tell. We got 16 hours, 6 minutes. And counting, and that probably does it for me today. I do want to bring up, by the way, the quantum wave bands. This one's been going fucking crazy recently. The hourly time frame firing off I think 6 trades in the last week. This is the environment, by the way, that the quantum wave bands is designed for. It's designed for for higher volatility times and for obviously scalping as well. And a bonus is when the trend is to the upside, like it is right now. And you can see that this thing has actually won all of the last 6 trades. Not all of them are humongous, massive winners. This is, again, a scalping strategy, meaning that, it's not designed to catch on to major trending moves. It's just designed to catch on to high probabilistic, entries and exits. And this one, let me just count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 in a row, with about a 68.25% strike rate. So I am waiting for, I am waiting for a bit of a slew of losses here, to be honest. But yeah, for the people who've been playing this, I've been really, really happy to hear the feedback on it. It's absolutely fucking amazing. By the way, if you haven't tried it already, you can try it again for free for 7 days. Just follow the teachable link in the description below. Like I said, you can do the same thing for the Quant Prime service, because you do the same thing for the price action pivots and even the HPDR as well. Like pretty much everything, we now offer free trials. Just in my opinion, it's the best, most transparent way to market these tools. Just see it for yourself. If you think it's valuable, get into it. If you don't, then no problem. All good. Anyways, I'll leave things on that note. Again, if I'm just wrapping this one up, I would say, yeah, overall, things probably do, trade to new all-time highs, I would imagine this month or next month. But do we get a pullback first? There does seem to be a lot of signals building up in the background, similar to what we've been looking at before, but they still have not been, confirmed. Man, my brain is just not working properly. They have not been confirmed just yet. And if you just want like a very easy number to remember to confirm most, if not all of them, for a decent pullback, that would be a daily closure below 103. Daily closure below 103. All right, that's where I'm going to be ending things on this video. We'll be back at it tomorrow with another live stream analysis. As always, I'm going to wish everyone the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully next time.